The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
The New York Nonprofit Press, the industry standard for nonprofits, is a must-read for over 20,000 New York City and state executives. Those who know the nonprofit world count on the NYNP to deliver breaking news and get messages across into the nonprofit industry. Ads can be placed in our paper, daily emails, or on our website. For more information, visit nynp.biz or email publisher at nynp.biz. The New York Nonprofit Press, serving people who serve people.
Good morning. This is Ron Gold from Marketing Works. The name of the show is A Nonprofit Voice, and today I'm with one of my best clients, Long Island Cares. And it's amazing at this time of the year, Long Island Cares just gets so much publicity for everything they do, and they do so many good things. But as we talked about at the beginning of the show, it's not just about the holiday season. It's all year round where it affects everyone. Paul, let's talk about the people that are here today, since it's all your staff. Why don't you introduce them?
Well, good morning, Ron, and thank you. It's always nice to be back at Long Island News Radio. And you've got a pretty good sampling of the administrative staff of Long Island Cares awake on a Saturday morning to come sit and chat. But it is good to be here. Certainly, I'm Paul Pachter. I'm the CEO of Long Island Cares and the Harry Chapin Food Bank. And with me in the studio right now is Robin Amato, who is our Chief Development Officer, responsible for raising most of the private donations that we get from Long Island Cares and working on our contracts, both state and federal, handling our special events and also our direct mail campaign. Seated next to Robin, of course your listeners can't see in the studio, but seated next to Robin is Dr. Jessica Rosati, and she is our Chief Program Officer, and she oversees all of our direct service programs, including our mobile outreach units and our 3 satellite programs that we provide here on Long Island, and we'll talk about that in a little while. Seated with Dr. Rosati is Lily McDonald. And Lily McDonald is one of our youngest volunteers. She's actually done voiceovers for our holiday commercials. And we're very excited that Lily was able to wake up early and be with us today as well. Christine Len is here, our Chief Network Officer, and Christine oversees the distribution, the ordering and distribution of food to more than 575 programs that rely on Long Island Cares for their emergency food. Her staff also oversees our children's nutrition programs, including our weekend distribution of meals program known as Pack It Up for Kids, and our after-school mentoring and recreational and also emergency food programs, and that would be our kids' cafes. And so we're going to get into talking about that with Christine in a little while. And finally, not finally, Billy Ganyu is with us, and Billy is our food drive and community events manager, and he is the person who the public speaks to when they want to conduct a food drive to benefit the regional food bank. And on any given day, there are probably about 60 food drives going on to benefit Long Island Cares. And last, Michelle LaFiora is with us today, and she's our social media specialist. And today she's running the video cameras so that this interview can be uploaded to our website and our Facebook pages. So that's who's sitting in the studio this morning, Ron.
And we have on the phone with us Jay Letterman. And Jay is the program director for JVC Broadcasting. And for the next 2 days, beginning at 10 a.m., we will be at ShopRite for the Food Fight Against Hunger. Let's see if we can grab Jay Letterman on the phone, and he could talk a little bit about it. Jay, is that you?
It is me, sir. How are you? Good morning.
It's good to hear your voice. Jay and I used to work together about 40 years ago. I hate to say that, but when we were at another radio station, so we know each other pretty well. Jay, thanks so much for being on today, and tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing today for us.
Well, as Paul was saying just a couple of minutes ago, Billy and I will be working together at the ShopRite in Patchogue for the JVC Broadcasting Food Fight Against Hunger. We've teamed up with all the radio stations from JVC Broadcasting, Party 105, La Fiesta, My Country 96.1. LI News Radio will be there, of course, as well as Oldies 98. And what we've been appealing to our listeners for the last couple of, probably about 3-4 weeks now, is for some help. It's a shame that there's hunger on Long Island, but there is, and that's why organizations like Long Island Cares and Brookhaven Interface are around, is to help these people. So we're going to do what we can. We're really excited to be at a different location this year. The ShopRite in Patchogue is going to be an easy way to get on, get off, donate what you have to. And we also want to thank our friends over at ShopRite because Janssen Supermarkets, Harry Janssen, which is the president, who's the president of ShopRite, is donating 2.5 pallets worth of food even before we start. And this is the first time that this has ever happened. So 1.5 pallets will go to Long Island Cares, and 1 pallet will go to Brookhaven Interface. So we're really excited about that. That's a nice bump to get this thing started.
Well, thank you so much for doing that, Jay. So where are you going now? You're doing a frozen jump somewhere? I mean, are you in your costume?
Yeah. Actually, I'm the MC for the town of Brookhaven's Polar Plunge, so it's kind of double duty for me today. I'll MC this event until about 11:30, 12 o'clock, which is over at Cedar Beach in Mount Sinai. And so we get probably about 1,000 crazy Long Islanders to jump into Cedar Beach, and this is all for Special Olympics. And then right after that event's done, I'll roll over to ShopRite in Patchogue and do what I can over there. So it's a busy day, but it's a fun day, and it's something that we love to be involved with.
Well, your general managers taught you well to work 52 hours a day.
Yes, Ron Gold, you did. Yes, Ron Gold, you did.
So thank you so much. And, at this time of the year, we do so much, and we're at a lot of shopping centers, a lot of stores, and a lot of people are donating, and we want them to keep donating to us. We have a few other events going on, and Paul's going to give us a little bit of history, but go get in your costume, and thank you so much for calling in.
You got it, buddy. And if anybody is interested in donating, they can go to any of the radio station's websites, including 1039 LI News Radio. There's a complete list of what Long Island Cares is looking for, as well as what Brookhaven Interface is needing this year. So thank you for your time, and have an awesome Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you. Robin, tell me the best ways to donate.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ron. Well, this time of the year, of course, it's food is on everyone's mind. And, of course, I am the fundraiser, so we always like, monetary donations. And if people would like to donate, there are a number of ways they can do that. Obviously, they could write a check and send it to us at our headquarters in Hauppauge. Or they can go on our website, licares.org, and make a nice, secure donation. And I want to say that for every $10 that's donated, we can provide 10 meals based on our buying power. So a $10 gift can go a long, long way. Also at this time of the year, people have stock. They may want to make a year-end gift, and so we accept gifts of stock. And also a nice thing to do at this time of year is perhaps give a gift in memory or in honor of someone for the holiday season.
That's terrific. Paul, give me an idea of the history of Long Island Cares. I mean, I know Long Island Cares. It seems like forever, but I know it's not forever.
Well, it is almost forever.
In our lives, not in my life, or yours. Nancy Douzinas,
who a lot of people on Long Island know, is one of our more prominent philanthropists. This past May, received the Harry Chapin Humanitarian Award from the Long Island Association. And during Nancy's presentation, she spoke about Long Island Cares and referred to us as an historic organization. We were perhaps the first organization on Long Island to address the issue of hunger in a very coordinated manner. The organization was founded by Harry Chapin, the late singer, songwriter, social activist, and he founded it in 1980. And those people that are familiar with Harry Chapin know that his success, which was significant, came during the 70s with a string of hit songs such as Cats in the Cradle, WOLD, Taxi, and others. Harry performed about 220 concerts a year, always said that half of his concerts were done for himself and the other half were done for the working guy. He gave a lot of his income to charity. But in 1980, some years after founding another organization known as Why Hunger, which looked at the issue of hunger and food insecurity on a global scale, Harry decided to create the food bank. And with the financial support of both Nassau and Suffolk County and New York State, he was given 2 buildings, I believe, on the grounds of Pilgrim Psychiatric Center to start Long Island Cares. And in 1980, it was estimated that there were approximately 50,000 people on Long Island that needed emergency food. Harry sadly passed away in 1981, a year after he founded Long Island Cares, and never really seeing what the organization would become. What I know he hoped was that perhaps within 10 or 15 years, the organization would close. There would be no more need for emergency food because there wouldn't be any more hunger on Long Island. And so now, of course, 37 years later, there are nearly 300,000 people on Long Island who are struggling with food insecurity, including 89,000 children, and close to 600 different programs and agencies in Nassau and Suffolk County, such as the pantries and soup kitchens and daycare centers and Head Start programs and veteran service programs, all providing emergency food. And Long Island Cares distributes roughly 6.5 million pounds of that food to the agencies that, of course, feed the population. That's really what Long Island Cares history is, together with a very caring board of directors and an immensely talented staff. The organization has been there almost 40 years, providing emergency food to people in need. However, 10 years ago, Long Island Cares had gone through a transition. We had sort of reached a tipping point in terms of hunger on Long Island and realized that there were too many gaps in the emergency food system here in order to meet the needs of both a diverse population and a rapidly changing population. You know, a lot of people have a image of people who may be hungry or poor as coming from minority communities and people who aren't working and collecting public assistance. That's really not the story about food insecurity on Long Island. 2/3 of the people that come to the organizations that we support are referred to as the working poor. These are Long Islanders who are working. They're not relying so much on public assistance, but their salaries simply aren't enough for them to put 3 healthy meals on the table each day and manage their other expenses. And so when I say we went through a transition 10 years ago, we started to look less about the food and talk more about the people. Why were people coming to the pantries and the soup kitchens? Why were they reaching out to the food bank? And we decided to go back to Harry's original vision for what Long Island Cares was to be about. And that's an organization that focuses in on the root causes of hunger, whether it's poverty, unemployment, immigration status, whether you're disabled and you can't, or homebound, or you're the working poor. Why are people coming for the food? Is there something that we can do that can lift them out of this cycle and help them, get back on their feet and not need the services of their local pantry? And so at that point in time, we started to develop a series of direct service programs, including 3 of our own pantries. I believe right now we're up to 4 or 5 mobile outreach units that deliver food where people are living or where they're congregating. 2 food trucks that provide services to children, rather extensive pet pantry, a government affairs program to advocate for sound social policies and continued funding for the food banks. So Long Island Cares today is a very comprehensive organization. Our philosophy is one that really is based upon collaboration with organizations that perhaps do similar work, certainly our member agencies, and organizations that work with the populations that we support. So we have a very rich history, as you know, Ron, in the music industry, and we've been very fortunate to tap into that industry over the last decade to have additional support from wonderful artists and corporations. But yeah, I go back to what Nancy DeZena said, and that is that Long Island Cares is an historic organization, and it's part of the human service fabric of this region. And I have the pleasure of being the CEO, but even the greater pleasure of working with the people that are sitting around this table, because Long Island Cares is not about one person. It's about the team. It's about the board. It's about the volunteers. It's about everybody who, gives of their time and their talents and their expertise to make this organization run. And that's where we are.
And being the best on Long Island as far as the what you do. When I walk into your office, a few times a week, the atmosphere in your office is incredible. The people seem to love working there, and that's a great feeling. And yesterday I was at an awards luncheon, and you got an award from the Association for Fundraising Professionals. As what was the award called?
It was at the Association of Fundraising Professionals of Long Island's annual Philanthropy Day. And the award that we received was presented by the Long Island Community Foundation. It was their inaugural Community Impact Award. And in presenting Long Island Cares with that award, David O'Korn, who's the CEO of the Long Island Community Foundation, really spoke very well about the last 10 years at Long Island Cares and what this staff and board has been able to accomplish in turning the organization in a different direction and really setting a higher bar for organizations that are going to work with the hungry here in the region. We're very, very proud to accept it. There were some wonderful people that were honored yesterday, including Roger Tillis and people that are associated with Hofstra University, two young volunteers, one volunteering for the America's Vet's Dog and the other one volunteering by sending out books and supplies to underprivileged countries. It was really inspiring for me, and I know a lot of people that were there, to hear these young volunteers, younger than 20 years old, some of them disabled themselves, just trying to give back. And, I appreciate the fact that, you see our staff every day, and, people for the most part come to work not only with a smile on their face, but determined to accomplish something every day, to think about something every day. Ours is a climate of innovation, a climate of creativity, a climate where people, one person doesn't make a decision, everyone's involved in the decision-making process. It is, for me, having spent 38 years in the human services, one of the best places to work if you're looking to make a difference and you're looking to be appreciated for your talents. We very rarely say no to any new idea. We're always encouraging people to think outside the box.
Well, let's talk about volunteers. I mean, volunteers are very important to Long Island Cares.
Well, Jessica, Dr. Rosati, that's your area first. And so we'll rely on you because you happen to have a volunteer sitting on your lap.
I do.
Most of our volunteers sit on our lap. No, go ahead.
Good morning, Ron. Thank you for having us on today. Volunteers are the success of our programs. We can't do what we do without them. They support us in a number of different ways, whether it's our programs, whether it's our office, in our warehouse, or doing commercials. And I think it's important that we create a culture at Long Island Cares that anyone in any capacity can give back and to volunteer. My daughter, Lily O'Donnell, has been doing voiceovers for us since she was 5. Lily, why do you volunteer?
You volunteer because you want to give back that don't have a lot. Give back to those who don't have a lot when you already know that you have so much that you want to give back that those that don't have what you have so they could have the special time with their family that you have.
Lily, you volunteered in the warehouse, right? And you've done community events for us, and you've been on the radio. What's your favorite part of volunteering?
Knowing that a family is going to get food, so they don't starve, that they're going to get food and they're going to be okay.
That's really great. Thank you, Lily. I think it's important to note that when we created programs directly supporting people in the community, our volunteers are a big component of that. And for some of the programs, completely run them, aside from minimal staff involvement.
I have to take a break, and we are going to finish your conversation after the break. Thank you so much.
The New York Nonprofit Press, the industry standard for nonprofits, is a must-read for over 20,000 New York City and state executives. Those who know the nonprofit world count on the NYNP to deliver breaking news and get messages across into the nonprofit industry. Ads can be placed in our paper, daily emails, or on our website. For more information, visit nynp.biz or email publisher@nynp.biz. The New York Nonprofit Press, serving people who serve people.
Good morning. This is Ron Gold from Marketing Works. The name of the show is The Nonprofit Voice. And I'm lucky enough to have everyone, the executives from Long Island Cares here, and they do look wide awake today. I would say within the next 4 to 6 weeks, they won't look as good as they do today. As we go right into their season. If any nonprofit would like to be on the radio show, give me an email at ron@marketingworkspr.com, and I will get you lined up for the beginning of next year since we are sold out for the rest of the year. We were talking to Jessica about volunteerism, and unfortunately I had to cut her off in the middle of a sentence, which I feel terrible about, but I'm sure I'm in a lot of trouble for that. But Jessica, why don't you continue if you remember where you were? How can they volunteer?
You can go about volunteering for Long Island Cares a number of different ways. We try to make it as easy as possible. Right on our website, licares.org, on our homepage is a button that says volunteer. If you click that, it'll give you all the information possible about volunteering. And I think it's important to note we take volunteers of all ages. We have programs geared towards children ages 7 to 14 and then 14 to 19. And volunteers can help in a number of different ways, whether it's in our warehouse, in our office, at community events, hosting food drives, talking to folks and educating about hunger, all different ways. So if you have talent and you have some time, feel free to give it to Long Island Cares. We're happy to have you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's hear about the needs of the population right now from Christine. Oh, I'm trying to get everybody who's here on so they don't walk away and say, I wasted an hour. I don't know why they needed me, but no, I want you to talk.
Good morning, Ron, and thank you for having us. Right now, we're in the middle of the holiday season. Actually, we're looking at Thanksgiving is almost completely done. So everyone thinks for Thanksgiving turkeys. A few years ago, we started a new trend. We encouraged organizations to think in terms of chickens. We have a number of people who are living in shelter programs, or they don't have the capabilities of cooking a full turkey, or they're small homes. So we encouraged our member agencies, instead of thinking turkeys, we started transitioning that to chickens. And as a result, we've been able to serve a tremendous population that hadn't had access to a holiday meal with the trimmings. And people wonder why we spend so much time and energy on serving Thanksgiving, but if you think about what you're doing at home with your family, with your friends and your neighbors, it's a wonderful, energizing time of year. It makes you feel normal, traditional. We want to have all of those values that people talk about on a regular basis. By bringing a holiday meal with the trimmings, whether it be a turkey or a trip or a chicken, to as many individuals as possible, it maintains a sense of normalcy to a lot of people that wouldn't normally have it. So it's very, very important that we share that with as many people as possible. We deal with a number of people that are in crisis on a regular basis. So through our member agencies, we've distributed, I believe, about 5,000 turkeys and probably close to 2,000 chickens. So we've served a large number of families, and we're still distributing. So if anyone wants to bring some turkeys in, we still have requests for more.
Well, what do we find? We're finding that even people that are employed right now, that we are now supplying more in food than we ever had to before. Is that true?
The holidays put so much of an extra strain on families that more people do need assistance during this time of year, between the meals and the cost of putting a special meal together, and then going right into the Christmas, Hanukkah holidays as well, during a time of year when people are struggling to pay their regular bills, and they're adding the cost of heating their homes. It just adds too much. Putting a winter coat, purchasing a winter coat for your family, there's just so much that happens at this time of year that more people do go and knock on the doors of our pantries.
And we're distributing a lot more than just food, Christine. We're looking at about 300,000 people here on Long Island that require and need food assistance. But if you can just elaborate a little bit on what else we provide to the community in need in addition to nutritious meals.
Well, besides the food, we also distribute personal care items. We assist the families with pet food. We have a special distribution during the cold months of gently used winter coats, new winter coats, household supplies, whatever it is. When we ask the agencies, we ask our member agencies if there's a special need to let us know. Baby care items are a big issue. Household supplies, always. Personal care, those are items that aren't covered in any other means of support, and they're very expensive. But people do need toothpaste, toothbrushes, soap, deodorants in order to go to work every day, in order to survive.
One of the ways, Ron, that food and supplies come into Long Island Cares is through community food drives. And as I said earlier in the program, on any given day, there can be about 60 food drives or personal care item drives or pet food drives going on to benefit Long Island Cares. Billy Gagnon, who is our community event and food drive manager, is the person that the public talks to in order to arrange for a food drive. Billy, why don't you talk about a few things? Number one, how do people go about organizing a food drive to support Long Island Cares? Some of the specialty food drives that you've been able to coordinate this year with the community, and give us a sense as to, what the numbers look like, how many pounds come in, what we're able to distribute, and who's involved with us right now in terms of food collection.
We work all year round to try to bring in as much food and non-food products as possible. And a lot of businesses across the island, so it could be banks, single businesses, grocery stores, will do these drives for us and work with us to bring as much product as possible. Today we have, as mentioned earlier, JVC Broadcasting's Food Fight Against Hunger, which last year brought in over 6,000 pounds of much needed product, and I think that'll easily be broken this weekend with our move to working with ShopRite. We have our Hitting for Hunger baseball clinic with Long Island Sports Zone, which happens every year, happening today. Last year they raised 1,300 pounds of food and are set to break that this year. Over the summer, we worked with 13 assembly members for the summer food drive to end hunger. So each one of those members held a drive at a King Cullen location over the course of 4 months, and that broke for the first drive over 20,000 pounds of food.
Wow.
We just finished this Thursday our 16th annual Thanks for Giving food drive with King Cullen and Walk Radio. That brought in 17,633 pounds, which is more than had been brought in since at least 2013. So we try to make the process of hosting the food drive as simple as possible. We offer drop-off services of our Long Island Cares branded boxes and posters. We offer pickup services. We also offer a virtual food drive where people can, instead of just hosting a physical food drive in their office or their place of business, they can use, anyone with access to the internet can use this platform and just purchase product online. It works just like Amazon except for nonprofits. And the stuff is shipped directly to our warehouse. There's no cost to Long Island Cares. There's no cost to the drive, the host sponsor. Say in 2016, Food Drives brought in about 500,000 pounds of product, and we are set to break that for 2017. And that's without including all the work we do for Puerto Rico. We've been doing for Puerto Rico currently.
Talk about tomorrow. You've got the National Guard, you've got Puerto Rico.
Right. On Monday, so we've been, since the end of September.
I thought that was tomorrow.
Since the end of September, Assemblyman David McDonough reached out to us to assist with Governor Cuomo's efforts relief efforts for Puerto Rico. So since September, Long Island Cares, with the help of many elected officials, especially Senator Elaine Phillips and Senator Tom Kaminsky, we brought in close to 200,000 pounds of product that are being picked up by the National Guard. We have another pickup scheduled for this Monday where all the product will be brought upstate to Camp Smith and then sorted and delivered to Puerto Rico from there. That drive is set to bring in about 250,000 pounds of product, which has been absolutely incredible. We're Islanders just helping Islanders. So with that drive alone is just seeing the response to it is absolutely amazing.
But it doesn't hurt us in any way. I mean, it's not taking anything away from Long Island
Absolutely
Cares.
not. Absolutely not. The public are recognizing the need in Puerto Rico after the devastation by Hurricane Maria, but they're still seeing the need for assistance on Long Island. So as of right now, our numbers have not seen a decrease as far as food drives are concerned. We've actually increased the food drive since 2016, as well as bringing in all this product for Puerto Rico.
Do you have a poundage for the year that you need that keeps going up? I mean, is there a number that you look for every year?
We try to always outdo what we did the year before, just to make sure the public's being served. But we also look at, as Paul has said in the past, we don't look at just the pounds of food. It's not what we're focusing on. We're focusing on the people in need and what else can be done to assist those people. So we can bring in 1 million pounds of food with food drives, but we want to make sure that the needs of the people are being met. There's no reason for anyone to be hungry on Long Island, period. So while we do try to break those numbers, we try to make it more accessible for the public to receive the food that they need.
And we want to keep our name out there in any other food drive that's going on. I know there's one called Canstruction, and we're due, I think, Robin, how much? 15,000?
Yeah, actually, this year they brought in 15,600 cans to Long Island Cares. Canstruction Long Island is a terrific event. We've been working with Canstruction Long Island for well over 10 years.
Wow.
And it's an amazing event where these design professionals make these incredible structures out of cans, non-perishable cans, bottles of water. They have very strict rules on how they can build their structures. And the ingenuity of these teams is just absolutely amazing. If you haven't gotten there this year, they'll do it again next year. It's always held at the RXR Plaza in Uniondale, and the displays are up for a week. And you can vote on your favorite display by bringing in a can of food and voting for your favorite structure. So we're always pleased to work with Canstruction Long Island, especially at this time of the year. It comes in perfectly timed for Thanksgiving, so we're grateful.
Let's talk a little bit about the breakfast you have set up, Paul, in December.
Oh, that would be our 10th annual Government Affairs Breakfast at Long Island Cares. Every year, in the beginning of December, this year it's December 8th, we commemorate Harry Chapin's birthday. with our annual government affairs breakfast. And, we've had some very impressive speakers over the year come over to the food bank and speak to our member agencies and other local, state, and federal legislators. This year, both Senator John Brooks and Senator Elaine Phillips are going to be our sponsors. Both of them have been very active with Long Island Cares this year, and we're going to be focusing in on our children's nutrition programs, mainly our mobile school pantry, our 2 breakfast food trucks, and our Pack It Up for Kids programs. We have 2 superintendents, one from the Riverhead School District and the other one from the Brentwood School District. And we also have the executive director of the Glen Cove Boys and Girls Club, who's going to be talking about our Kids Cafe programs, and really with an emphasis on trying to encourage Congress and also our state legislators to continue to provide the needed funding for children's nutrition programs, especially the free or reduced breakfast and lunch programs that they offer in the schools. So we hope to have about 90 people, maybe 100 people join us this year. As I said, each year many assembly members come, state senators. We've had congressmen come, local legislators, and our board of directors is there. And we'd like to reach out to our member agencies as well. It's an opportunity to network with people you don't always see on a daily basis, but also to advocate and have your voice being heard to the people in government who can make a difference.
Let's talk a little bit. You just mentioned the mobile pantry.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, why don't you talk a little bit about that?
There's a number of different mobile programs that Long Island Cares operate. And I think one of the driving forces of us in creating those programs is because we wanted to bring food to the people directly. For whatever reason, if they were unable to come to their local pantry or not. So 10 years ago, I think it started with our homebound seniors in creating a program that would bring non-perishable food to seniors directly in the home and to help keep them independent in their home by providing them access to nutritious meals. That program is truly amazing. It's unique to Long Island. There's no other service that does it. And I think we've distributed a tremendous amount of food in the past 10 years. And I think that was kind of the platform for the mobile model. And in years after, we developed additional programs that did those wraparound services that went beyond the provisions of food service, with our whole notion that if you're hungry, we wanted to feed you, but we really wanted to determine why you were hungry, and if there was something that the food bank could do to help give you access to other supports and services to lift you out of poverty. And make you more self-sufficient, then we needed to do that. What Paul just mentioned was our relationship within the school districts, which is really just so important. There's a tremendous amount of school districts on Long Island. I think the number changes from 124 to 127. And, we have all these students and these wonderful minds that unfortunately don't have access to nutritious meals. And the mobile school pantries are an opportunity for us to bring food to families, to give them those healthy alternatives. And we've been successful in doing that in the largest school district on Long Island, Brentwood, the highest needed district on Long Island, Wyandanch, and a little bit small but a little bit far east, Riverhead. So those are pretty impactful districts that we're making a difference in. And, if we had the opportunity, I think we'd mirror the program in every district on Long Island.
Aren't there people that are afraid to come out of their houses even right now because of ice and other things that are going on?
I think that's a concern for Long Island because of the climate that we live in. But I think we've been very clear as the food bank to offer the support and to give that security to families so they know that they're safe. we're going to make sure that any distribution we operate is safe. I know that from an agency perspective, and Christine can chime in if she wants, our agencies know that we support them, and we're going to make sure that any person in need of emergency food supplies or services on Long Island is being helped by Long Island Cares.
Well, as we are in Thanksgiving time, and Thanksgiving and Christmas together, it seems, does this slow down in December, or do we keep doing more and more of these outreach? Billy?
We definitely see the highest amount of product brought in during November every year. December will slow down a bit, but it is still incredibly busy for us. It's during the summer months where our product donations definitely drop, and we try to really remind people that hunger is an issue all year round. It's definitely great to give families the sense of normality during the holidays, but when school's not in session, people are on vacations, that food is still needed. And so, host your Thanksgiving, your holiday food drive, host another one in the spring, host another one in the summer. The food's there, it's needed all year round.
As we like to say, hunger doesn't take a holiday.
No, and it's not just around the holiday season, so we should be doing this all year round.
Absolutely.
Just to keep coming up with different ideas to bring the awareness out.
Exactly. Sometimes people come to me and they want to do something, and I obviously, if they really want to do it at the holidays, that's terrific. But sometimes I urge them and I say, do something for Valentine's Day. Let's think about St. Patrick's Day. Try to wrap some other holidays around giving.
Well, thank you all for being here today.
Thanks, Ron.
I think we need to do so much more outreach. This is Ron Gold from Marketing Works, and the name of the show is The Nonprofit Voice.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.